Hey everybody, welcome to Perry, Georgia and Evergreen Cemetery. My son and I decided after watching Hollywood Graveyard and Wit Docs that we would try our hand, along with the wind, at touring old cemeteries in Georgia. Our local cemeteries that might have some history and something that people might be interested in. Now, Perry is an old town in Houston County. It was founded, not really sure, but I know based on the history of this cemetery, there's a lot of folks here that were born and died in the 1800s. And you can tell just by the stones and statues that there are a lot of history here. We've got some stones in disrepair. We've got some really ornate monuments. And then we've got some lovely trees with Spanish moss, so that just shows the history that's here. So bear with us as we start this journey. There's going to be lots of videos, lots of amateur videos, nothing professional, but we're excited about this adventure, and we'll be coming with you throughout Georgia and Georgia's history. Thanks for watching. One thing my son is noticing is the number of graves of infants or children that did not live very long in this cemetery. And as young as he is, he doesn't quite understand that infant death was very common before modern medicine and so forth. And this family obviously lost more than one child before they grew. Also finding in this cemetery is a lot of CSA stones, which no doubt symbolizes that this person was members of the Confederate Army during the Civil War. Clinton Duncan here, born 1839, died 1910, was probably, a soldier in the Civil War. Over here you find a Confederate flag. And again, I apologize, you're going to have to bear with me with my amateur video skills. But there's just a lot here in this cemetery, a lot we're finding. Local history that was involved in some very significant historical moments in our country. This wrought iron gate, was probably at one time enclosed, but age has taken its toll on it. And as my son pointed out, there are numerous graves here that have worn to where you don't know the names, you don't know who is buried here. But it just makes me and everybody as a history buff just wonder what their stories are. And it's clear by the condition of the gate, the condition of the plot, that this has certainly been here a while. Coming through the trees, you see another plot here that is encased in brick. No doubt the family put this here to keep everyone together. But again, just another sign of the age here at this cemetery. You'll notice things like this in historical cemeteries, that at one time, even though this tree is very old, this grave was put here at one time, and the roots of the tree has sort of displaced the grave marker. And this goes to show, again, some age here. I keep saying that, but in this part of Georgia, in our town, the town that I live in, Warner Robins, the history only goes back about 75 years. So to find something like this very close down the road is very interesting. Here again is another ornate monument, another plot, the gate around it, symbolizing a family or those that go together, the Hauser family. Back here in the back is some more Hausers. I'm not really sure what their history is or who they are, but certainly worth looking at. And a lot of these cemeteries are grouped by letter. or maybe that's part of the Perry Historical Society that wants to give you a area here to look at. There's another CSA symbol. But I know this video may sound boring, but it's neat to find all these things where, like, right in your backyard, places that you live. It's hard to see in the video, but my son pointed out this grave of Major James Kelly, who was born in 1795, died here in Perry in 1842, 54 years old. By the name Major, might be his first name, might be a symbol that he was part of the Army or part of the military, but on the back over here has Mrs. Amy Kelly. I always thought Amy was a relatively new name, but Amy apparently is a historical name, late relict, not a term that you see of Major James Kelly, who was older, born 1781, died here in Perry in 1854. Kind of looks like an above ground mausoleum. Certainly not created in 1854 in my opinion, but certainly showing some wear. And then over here you find yet another grave, no name on it, but it was made of bricks. It's obviously been worn. Gosh, I keep saying it over and over, but this is just so unique to find a cemetery at this age right here in Houston County. This right here, this wrought iron gate is really neat, and these monuments, obelisks, very tall. This is sort of a tight-knit plot here. Hugh Dennard, born 1800, died 1888. Loved and honored, he passed away peacefully after a long life full of good deeds, desiring to love only to do more good. Wife of E.L. Dennard, C-H-A-S-W Dennard, no doubt a child. And then over here, gosh, this obelisk is really neat. Another Dennard, Fanny H., wife of E.L. Dennard. Looks like he had more than one, which was very common, of course, in that time. Even amongst this historical cemetery, this is still an active cemetery. This is the grave of William Sexton, who died here in 2020. Not sure exactly who he was, but still neat to see that amongst these historical graves, you've got folks that were certainly born and died in the 20th century. I wanted to move over this way. This is a very neat headstone. Gornto. Again, not sure who the Gornto is, but Gornto was. Raymond, Maryland. But this headstone has a map of Georgia pointing out Perry, Soperton, Adel, and then two colleges, ABAC, and the University of Georgia. Perhaps that he had connections to those universities. Again and again. Right behind here with this hanging moss tree, you've got some more historical graves. There's three CSA symbols here. Folks that served on the Confederate side of the Civil War. And again, if you're hearing me talk and the video looks weird, it's just I'm looking around and I'm learning myself as we walk through this cemetery. This is the Warren family, a broken grave, and it just gotta wonder who these folks are. This plot is enclosed in brick that no doubt is significantly worn. There's only 2 slabs that you find over here. We'll see if they have names, but the area has room for many graves. Sarah R. Haywood, born 1830, died 1868, and the grave next to it is certainly worn, but you got to wonder if this has unmarked graves. Just things that you ponder in a place like this. We've got a grave over here, wrought iron fence. This looks a lot newer. Perhaps another family plot that's been here. Like I said, Evergreen appears to be an active cemetery. It's got an A on the gate. There goes Jax. Noelle Marie Randolph, born 1982, died 2016. So somebody who was 34 years old, apparently loved coffee. But again, this is right here amongst all these historical graves. So very much an active cemetery. We've reached the back part of the cemetery. It starts sloping down a hill, and found something unique here. Lots of white crosses. There's not any names on them. No doubt this could be an African American part of the cemetery. Just a hunch, because we know that they were, as I've seen in other places, buried, segregated per se, even in death. But there's numerous white crosses as you walk down this road. Heck, it could be a potter's field, or slaves. I mean, I'm really reaching here, but I just, I've said numerous times through this tour that you just don't know. Here's a old grave that's been worn over time. More folks here. It just keeps going, just like my son said. I learned a long time ago that a lot of times you have to come out in these places and do a rubbing. Take tracing paper, rub it over with a pencil or so forth, and you can find maybe easier time who these are. But there's a broken cross right here, another cross here at the bottom. I mean, these could have been anybody. Bear with me here again. I used to get in trouble saying that in my old job when I had a phone job. But right down here at the bottom of the hill, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 white crosses put together here. And as Jax is just looking at amazement, he just says this just keeps going. So I've got Nina Bell Jackson, died in 1978. And you can see the difference in what's written on these headstones. It's just a different part of the cemetery. Here in this same section of the cemetery, you'll see a military issue stone, Isaac Arnold, who was a veteran of World War I, private first class, Company A. Born 1900, died 1957, out here in this same area amongst the white crosses. You see right here on a cliff that leads down to a retaining pond. More white crosses. I won't continue, but there are dozens and dozens and dozens of them here. Again, forgive me, my amateur video footage camera will get better at this. But I've seen other videos that it almost looks like they took their tour before they started filming, but no, we're just kind of doing this as it goes. More white crosses. I need to do some research on that. But coming back up this area, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row where they have headstones that basically, while the cement was wet, they just traced their names. Peyton Johnson, Retsy or Betsy Brown, Phyllis Brown, John Smith, James Brown. Ow! How do you do? No, please forgive me for that, Mr. Brown. But the names, they're all at rest. But looks like someone just traced their names in the wet cement. I mentioned earlier the Nunn family. Sam the senator, and I'm just guessing here because Sam's got a brother, George Nunn, who was a judge here in Houston County, but this is George Nunn, born 1883, died 1954. Bessie Nunn, died 1963, born 1885. I'm guessing this is probably a grandparent. Not sure, but that's what part of cemeteries, you get to play a guessing game. But just wanted to note this as we were talking about the Nunns earlier. The Walker family is also a well-known family here in Houston County. Perry and what became Warner Robins. Streets, subdivisions. Lawrence Cohen Walker, born 1917, died 2002. Cohen Walker Drive is a town in street, excuse me, in Warner Robins. Maybe this is the namesake. Just love this fenced-in area. This just really fascinates me under these trees that no doubt have been here for hundreds of years. This is a large plot. I'm not sure if it's all family, but you got to wonder if they're all buried in the same area, that they are related or connected somehow. Some older stones. Clark with an E. And then an obelisk here. Let's see who this belongs to. This is, can't read it, Eliza. Uh-oh, part of the fence is down. Well, it's pretty worn, so I'm not 100% sure who it is. Here's some graves under the trees. Got some slabs at one time that have cracked. And then this row of graves here. And you just gotta think, these are all people that lived here locally, that had stories, had lives, had children, had families. And just it's so neat to see how folks honored their dead and how they represented their dead with their headstones, their burial traditions. We've moved up in a different part, but again, you see some more white crosses. And I wish I knew a way to really verify why or what the white crosses symbolize, because there's no names. There's one over here under the tree. Some more down this way amongst headstones. Perhaps I'm going to have to contact the Historical Society and see what they are. They're just kind of scattered all over this area. And again, we've moved up the way, but part of this cemetery is spread out. Part of it's close together. But yeah, these white crosses just go on and on and on. Here's a modern military emblem here. Alfonso Ross, who fought World War II, died in 1987. And there are some other Rosses back here. A couple white crosses. Another Ross. And over here you've got Louis James Oliver with your white military issued granite marker, and then something you don't expect to see in a cemetery. Caution, gator in area. Like I said, there's a retention pond back here, and there may have been a gator spotted. Now this sign has some wear to it, so I'm gonna guess that Mr. Gator may be long gone here. But again, I'm walking, so bear with the jumpy video, but we've got lots of military here. Mr. Oliver was from World War I. Down here below, we've got Charles Johnson. Again, if you're seeing some shaky video, it's like I said, I'm walking as I'm doing this. Mr. Johnson was also a veteran of World War I. Some more Hausers, which was a name we saw earlier. And then I'm just trying to get down here. See, this just slopes down. More white crosses. We've got John Jackson, World War I. And then the last one over here, Minor Burgess, veteran of World War II. And then family plots that down amongst the trees. I don't really know. I know modern times you pay for a cemetery plot. And I'm just really not sure how these folks all ended up in this cemetery and what these white crosses meant. I know in some places, if you don't have money, then you're buried in a sort of a potter's field per se, and maybe that's where these all came from. We found ourselves a fresh one, no disrespect meant, but Miss Rosa Lee Barrett, and I'm not really sure what they meant here, because today is what day is today, Jack? The 19th of December, and this says that she died 9 days ago, 9 days in the future, December 28th. I'm not exactly sure what happened here, but Miss Rosa is a recently deceased individual. Some beautiful flowers on her grave, but that's interesting there. Because there's Patricia Evans, Rosa Dent. Yeah. But again, you gotta wonder how you get a plot like this. I really don't know. Like I said, I've got a lot of research to do, but that was interesting that this person was just buried here recently. Linda Patricia Holt lived 4 days in the 1950s. Fortunately, her marker has sort of fallen in disrepair. But right over here, there's lots of, this may be, excuse me, as we're walking through, an area for children, because we've got lots of small stones here, slabs. Careful where you're stepping on, son. This may be an area for children. But right here we've got a praying angel, William Tony Money, who born and died July 23rd, 1958. Always curious with the praying angel that symbolizes a child. Sad, but it's nice to know that they can be memorialized. This is a newer part of the cemetery, and I've always been taught that graves face a certain direction. Rises in the east, sets in the west, so they face the setting sun, and now we're maybe away from the sun, I'm not sure. We're a little past noon and the sun seems to be headed in the other direction, but this is Langston, Hester. Then over here you've got graves that face a completely different direction, and again, I'm not sure about that. This is just different. This is a large plot, Cobb, and you've got Eugene Beckham, some more Beckhams. Gotta wonder if these are connected in some way, but these face a completely different direction than really all the other graves in the cemetery. And then a couple of recently deceased here. Anna Pritchett, Alan Pritchett. This Pritchett here died on November 29th. Alan Pritchett died in March. Husband and wife, perhaps. Or, well, I'm not sure. Maybe mother and son. She was born 1938. He was born 1961. These are very recently deceased individuals, but they just face a different direction, and I'm not really sure what there's significance to that. I thought this was neat here. These slabs are pretty old, but this family made it where you really knew, and this might be mother, father, and some children here, but you got Bud. You've got Louise. You've got Newt. And then up here, you got Papa and Mama. So, and then up in this other area, you've got some newer stones here. Tollison, popular name here. Newer stones, died 2013, 2016, 2002, and then up here you've even got Dudley. I'm assuming that's a dog, but you got Dudley, beloved pet of Lori. But that's pretty neat. We're getting here towards the end of our tour of Evergreen Cemetery, but we've still got some neat monuments here. The Brady family. T.B. and Annie Brady, born 1854, died 1912. And then if you pan this way, you see that even in this area, we've still got some neat stones. We've got the Hancocks. Here's another child, 2 years old. And we're We're gonna get better at this cemetery tour thing, but this is a great place to start. Lots of history here, right here in our own county. So anyway, thanks for watching. This has been fun. Taking these with my iPhone. I just love this place. Love the history here. Know some of it, but don't know a lot of it. But just really want to learn more. So thanks for watching. We're getting ready to leave, and this caught my eye. I really don't know what this is. It is a bricked off area. It's got an entrance. The bricks are falling apart, and then it's got a lot of overgrowth here. But you can't really see any markers or any stones. But it just makes you wonder, was this a building at one time, or was this something, or was this in fact a plot? Makes me think that it's a plot here because of the way that it's bricked off, and this gate entrance. But this is certainly what looks like the oldest structure of some sort we found here. It's got the name Swift next to it. I'm not sure if that symbolizes who this is, but yeah, we were on the way out and saw this, so makes you wonder.